All right. What is up, world? I'm feeling good. Feeling good today. Let's see what's going on out there before I go to bed tonight. I doing a lot of editing today. Tuesday is like a light day for me at work. What a day for it to be a light day at work. I'm gonna look at the. I looked at these short lists. I put out a reaction video earlier. If you guys saw it, it's on the channel if you want to check it out. But I said, let me go into the Award Expert app and update my Oscar predictions based on what I saw on the short list and get some feedback from you guys. See if you guys have any questions for me about what transpired today. Hit me with them if you do. If you're watching this later, comment below. But I feel pretty good. So I went in yesterday. See, I got a couple comments here. But I'm going to see if this works. It's my boy Yaney. What's up, Yaney? You can be my lab rat for this. Oh my God, it worked on the first try. Jesus, I can't believe it. I can't believe it, Yaney. It worked on the first dang try. What's up, man? Thanks for being here. Yes, you did. It's Gerald, but I've actually been called George quite a bit, believe it or not. So you're not the first. But thank you for being here. I feel good. Okay. So I have been riding with Wicked for all year, as you guys know, and last year, frankly. And they did the short list today. I got a couple different screen shares going on here, but what was it, like 8 that it showed up for? Casting, cinematography, which I didn't even expect. Let's see, what else did it get in here for? It got in here for makeup and hairstyling, which I did expect. Score, which I also did not expect, and that's as a super fan. Let's see, 2 songs, right? Both of them got in there, yep. Sound and visual effects. Literally everywhere that it could show up, it showed up. So in my title, I put Wicked is alive. Because I believe it is. Why did I seem upset? I was not upset earlier. I was very happy. Are you talking about on the reaction video? I definitely didn't mean to appear to be upset because I was actually I was surprised at a few. There were a couple that did upset me, but it was not enough to overshadow how happy I was. So I'm so sorry about that if I seemed upset. Sinners could get as many as 15 to 16 noms based on the count. It would set an all-time record. So you think Sinners would get more than one battle? I mean, you could be right. I'm just curious if you think that, because really they could both show up in all the same categories, frankly, which could be kind of crazy. I said on my what video was it? I did a video recently where I said it was going to be Sinners versus one battle this year, especially for like the tech categories. The acting categories are weird because like you could get Rose Byrne in there, Amy Madigan can win with weapons having very little else. So the acting categories are strange, where one battle and Sinners could miss for those, right? Even though they'll have a ton of nominations. But then in the text, it's like flip a coin, right, between those two films. I'm interested if you think that would be what that would be their AXR. Let me know. Yeah, I don't either. I think, man, let's look at this. So I tend to agree with you there, which is a bummer. So let me know what you thought of that, Yaney. It's in my top 10 of the year right now, actually, which is a list I'll be doing first week of January. But yeah. Ooh, happy birthday. Happy birthday. I didn't even know that. I haven't been on Discord in like 2 weeks, as you've probably noticed, but I didn't even know that. So AXR, I've had Chase Infinity in since they switched the category. What was that, a couple months ago? I mean, I went on with my buddy Brian Rowe. I don't know if you guys saw, I had a guest spot on his show a couple weeks ago, and even he was like, I don't know, I don't see it. But like, for me, it's kind of the opposite, where I'm like, I don't know how people don't see it. If it's the strongest film, it's PTA, it's a Stars Born, like, welcome to the world performance. I mean, I think it was really smart campaigning her as lead. I went in here yesterday. I want to look at these real quick, and then I'll go back to your comments. But Went in here yesterday and just did a quick update before the short list. You guys can see I'm shooting you straight because you see the date there says the 15th, so just so you guys know. The reason I say that is because I honestly don't... Why did my camera disconnect? Did you guys see that? Hang on a second. Let me see if I can get it to reconnect. Oh, it wants to, but it won't. I wonder if it's the cable. Oh boy. Because I was going to update it on my phone, which would be easier for me than to put on the website. Work. All right. I'll tell you what I'll do. Because I do have, although I don't can update it on what they don't have updates on their website, do they? Oh, there it goes. It worked. That was so weird. It could be the cable. So the reason I bring that up is because honestly, I don't think there's any changes in my best picture predictions after the short list. I mean, right? I mean, look at this. So, I mean, the only thing would be I'm definitely going to add Surratt in here. Out. It's disappearing, right? Why does it keep doing that? So I might, oh, that's not how you do it. So I'm going to add Surratt in here for sure, and I'm probably going to remove, I wonder if it's my cable, because I do have like a, what you call it, a extender. This sucks, man. It sucks that everything was working okay, and all of a sudden it stopped working. But what I was going to say is I'm going to put, and it's whenever I change the screen, watch. Oh no, it kept it that time. So I'm going to put Surratt in. Or did I already put that in? Maybe I already had that in. Where is it? Okay. And I think, are we saying, I'll check the comments. We're saying Testament and Lee is deader than fucking dead, right? I mean, that's like literally a corpse. So I'm getting rid of that. I tell you what, let me pull up the website. Expert Mac app so I can share that with you guys, and then it'll update my, what you call it? Maybe it'll update my predictions for you on the screen because I'm doing it on my phone and it keeps going in and out. So let me do that real quick, and then I will share it with you guys. Technology, man. Technology, which, by the way, I knew Steven Spielberg. Oof, I want to talk about that a little bit, too. I did a trailer. Today was a day for me. Like, I was literally out here for like 6 hours doing all kinds of shit. Award expert. Where you at? Where you at? By the way, this is not Brother Bro. This is not the crew over there. This is my freaking outdated, probably cable, honestly. All right, let me see. Academy Awards. All right, now let me see if I can share this with you instead, because that way you guys can see it at least. Oh, no, I might have to do a screen share. All right, give me 1 second, guys. I'm going to fix this for you, because I want you to be able to see the predictions. Give me 1 second. I'm going to do a... I'm going to do another screen share, and then I will share it with you guys. Yeah, right here. Give me 1 second. Cover my face up for a second. Nobody's going to care about that. I don't want to do that. I want to do award expert. Okay. Make it a little bit bigger. Okay, can you guys see that now? Move it over here a little bit. Just a little bit. Okay, just so you guys can kind of see what's going on there. I think you guys can see that. That's annoying, though, because I don't think it updates in real time on the site, which is annoying. I wonder if the site has like a refresh button. Anyway, okay, so as you can see, what I was saying is for my picture, did it bring it? Yeah, it did bring in Surratt. So I guess if I refresh it, it'll show you. So I just added Surratt, and I think... All right, let me see what you guys say, because I'm curious if... I think Testament of Van Lee's dead, so I just removed it from the 15, I mean. Did Begonia get any mentions today? Begonia got into score, right? I think. All right, let me go back and see what you guys are saying here. Kwani, right? Is that right? Kwani? Am I saying that right? Kwani? I love that. Kwani. Yeah, Chase is in. I've got her in. I think it's getting 5. I think it's getting everything but Regina Hall. Although, hang tight. If the SAG gets cute because they love her, I mean, I do too, let's be honest, but could break the record. All right, see Kwani there. Okay, so Train Dreams got, that's what I was trying to figure out here. I was trying to figure out if Begonia stays in the 10. Let me know what you guys think, because right now, as you can see, I've got Begonia at, see, this view is all messed up. I wish it would have let me use my phone. I'm so sorry. Let me, so if it looks like I'm not looking at you guys, I promise I am, but I have to try to get to the app so that I can see what I'm doing when I'm sharing it with you. Okay, so I mean, One Battle centers Hamnet. That's that. Sentimental value, it was just an accident. Marty, which is probably the only movie besides Aunt Lee, actually, that I haven't seen yet, of the ones in contention at least. Frankenstein, I think, is still good, especially after today, and so is Elordi, I think. We'll talk about that here in a second. Secret Agent, I already had that in, and I feel great about that being in now. It got a casting shortlist mention, which I thought was possible, and I thought maybe even the SAG might go out for that movie a little bit because it's super, super hyped right now. So I'm leaving that in. And then these last two spots I was playing around with on my last Power Rankings video, and I ended up taking out Jay Kelly and putting in Begonia. I left Wicked alone because, of course, I did. I'm not fucking doing anything with that until it's literally dead on the floor. I'm not moving it. So I think that's still alive. And a lot of people give me shit or just give Wicked in general shit. But, I mean, it hasn't missed anything but the Globes, really. I mean, that's all it's missed. And not only that, where it showed up, it's overperformed, including today. So I feel good about it getting a nomination. Now, if it misses at SAG, I'd probably still leave it in, but it would be tough to ride that out because it would have to get PGA and BAFTA at that point. So SAG is going to be huge for them. So I want to see if you guys think, because I was going to answer your question about Train Dreams there, LG 4030. I love that movie. It's in my top 10 of the year. I'm wondering about the like subtlety and the quietness of it. What would it overtake here? That's my question. The best thing that could happen for Train Dreams is for Wicked to fall off. So the best thing to happen for Train Dreams would be for Wicked to miss the SAG or the BAFTA or any combination therein. It's probably not going to update on here. So when I hit save, watch this. Did it give you guys, to show you guys that error message? Yeah, I think it's because it's a Mac, so I have to do it on my phone. But Train Dreams is my number 11 right now, like waiting to go in. I just don't know what it would go in for out of this 10, because I feel like, I mean, personally, through number 8 is definitely safe. I don't think any of these top 8 are missing. I mean, something crazy would have to happen in the next like 2 weeks for any of these films up here, 8 and above, to miss. Begonia has been overperforming in where it's been showing up too. And just like a couple of weeks ago, I was saying Begonia wasn't an Oscar or a Best Picture player, but here I am. I have it in my 10. But I do think Train Dreams is on deck. I think that's the first one in if something of these miss, unless Sirach keeps pushing. The shortlist, though, you know what? Let's go to that because you might have a point there with Train Dreams. I'm going to get to your comments. I hear the dinger going off on me. So Train Dreams obviously hopefully got in cinematography. I remember that. I have that as my number 1 for cinematography right now. Score. Okay, so it got in for score. There would be no reason for it to get in. But then again, there's no reason for One Battle to be on. Why did One Battle and Nuremberg get makeup? Does anybody know? I don't know. I mean, I guess Sean Penn in the last act of One Battle, but for the whole movie, that was a weird. That's where you know it's going to get nominated for literally everything. Nuremberg, I was like, okay. I mean, I love Nuremberg. I'm one of the apologists for that movie. I actually really liked it, but I'm also trying to think of where the makeup and hairstyling comes in. I mean, I guess Russell Crowe maybe had like a fat suit or prosthetics or something. I'm not sure about that, honestly. And then Marty Supreme I haven't seen, but I'm also thinking of everything I have seen. What's the makeup for that? So those are 3 nominations that are weird on that list. Okay, so we got 2 for Train Dreams. Let's see. That's international. What the hell is, here we go. Train Dreams cinematography, okay, right? And then That's it. It didn't get casting, and that's a short. So that's it. So that's three. They're three pretty major ones. That's a good day for Train Dreams. You know, Train Dreams is like, it's a dad joke on the train analogy, but it's the little movie that could, right? I've been saying that for a while now, especially since I saw it because I loved it. I just don't know, man. Let me see what you guys say. I just don't know about the. It just might be too small. I mean, you know, it might be too small to be able to overtake something. Let's see. Was A24 able to hook you up with an early screening of Marty Supreme? Oh, yeah, we were talking on Twitter about that, right? No. So, they're killing me. So, you know what they did? They sent me, like, a week ago, a bunch of screeners. I might have them out here, actually. Do I have them out here? They sent me, like, all kinds of shit. Hang on. So, I think, is Bring Her Back A24? That's them, right? They sent me all this. You see, right? And I'm like, oh, yes, great. And every one I'm looking at, I'm like, oh, okay, I've already seen that. I've already seen that. Love it. It's like 20 movies that I've already seen. No Marty Supreme. And that was like a week ago after I had done that tweet. So I'm like, okay, they're paying attention to me. But they weren't. So I think that was just one that went out to my critics group. So I'm like, all right. So then, it's inside, so I can't show you. So then yesterday, I get this silver, like metallic silver padded envelope in the mail from A24. And I'm like, what the fuck's going on here, right? So I open it up, and it's like a happy award season. It's like a card, like a Christmas card, but for award season, which is kind of cute. But also when you're expecting Marty Supreme, it's not cute. And it had like a scratch off in it that you could like scratch off to get like money off of their merch store and stuff. And it's basically just like thanking me for like watching their movies, which is cool. I thought it was cool. Don't get me wrong. But also I was like, because it was shaped like a DVD. I think they're fucking with me on purpose. But no, to answer your question, I have not seen it. So the plan, my kids are out of school for like 2 weeks, and they are demanding these children. I mean, it's crazy, you know. I'm basically like the reverse sex Die My Love over here with them, you know. It's crazy. But I'm going to go see it as soon as humanly possible. But what I'm probably going to do, because I'm not even going to try to do it on Christmas Day, because that would be uncool of me with my wife. So probably on the 26th, like late at night, like a late night showing, maybe 11 o'clock or something like that, is probably when I'll be seeing it, just so everybody knows. So that one and Testament of Ann Lee I have not seen. SCW, I love you, brother. What's up? Hadn't seen you in far too long, man. No, this is Award Expert, which you can download in the App Store, and I think it's Google Chrome too, but it's run by Brother Bro, Justin, and you know, the Oscar Expert, those dudes. So they started it for us awards fans a couple years ago, and it's been building and building and building. So it's very similar to like Gold Derby, but I just prefer it because, I don't know, I just like it better. Plus I like supporting them, so I'm a patron of theirs, so that's where you can get it from. All right, let me go back to these. I was seeing... Ooh, Ryan, I want to know what you thought of that one. What a film, am I right? Rose Byrne, man, so good. Conan O'Brien's really good in that too. You know what? I forgot how I said it, though. I said Kwani, right? Kwani? I forgot. I think that's how I said it. I'm so happy you're here. Rodney, my man, thanks for the engagement lately, man. I know you're a Wicked stan as well. Yes. I think you're asking that in a, like, obvious way because you know what I'm going to say. But, yes, it's still alive. I mean, I never said it wasn't. And everybody's like, oh, like, that has a chance? You really think that's going to get in? This, that? Now, in fairness, Cynthia's in trouble. I don't see her getting in, although don't bank on that either because the blows that Ann Lee's taken in the last couple weeks of literally not getting in anywhere. I mean, not anywhere, but a lot of places has been missing, except for Amanda. So if she suffers, if Seyfried suffers, because the movie's getting nothing else. I mean, even the person that won the score last year, the original score for The Brutalist, couldn't get a shortlist, not even a nomination, a shortlist on here. It's getting nothing. They hate it. Okay? That's telling me that the Academy and really the industry in general hates The Testament of Ann Lee. Which, whatever. I mean, people don't, not everybody likes everything. But if they hate a movie that much, or they're avoiding it that much, are they really going to nominate a key performance as one of their 5 nominees? I don't know. I don't feel good for Amanda, and I was hopeful for her. I didn't have her in my 5 in the last couple rounds I did of predictions, but I love her, and I'm sure the performance is like out of this world. But if she suffers because Ann Lee is so weak, we know Wicked is not going to be that weak. Even if, I think I said this on my last Power Rankings video, even if Wicked barely shows up, we know it's still going to get 3 or 4 nominations. I mean, at a minimum, right? Because you got both songs, at least one of them, if not both, right? You would expect costumes, visual effects, that kind of stuff they got to be in the top 5, I would think. Especially for costumes and production design. Visual effects, I think, were much better this time around too, and I think they were improved and enhanced, which they need to improve on that first one, to show where it's different. And I think visual effects and cinematography too. A lot of people scoffed at that, and now, truth be told, I think No Other Choice was a much better film in terms of cinematography. Absolutely, 1,000%, I agree with that. But it's not like the Wicked for Good cinematography was bad. Now, the first one, I was not a huge fan of. That was one of the very few negatives I had on that first film, was the color grading, the cinematography, and kind of the lack of contrast in that movie. So they improved it this time around. But Cynthia basically is not dead yet, but I am worried for her. But to Rodney's point, and he knows my answer to this, absolutely Wicked still has a chance. I've got it in my 10, as you can see. It's been there since April. It's not going anywhere until it's dead on the floor. And my mentality, just so everybody knows, with Wicked, because everybody jumped ship on it, right? It missed one list, and everybody's like, bye. And even before that, it got not bad reviews, but mixed reviews, and everybody's like, bye, it's dead. And that was, and I'm like, wait a second, what? So I'm on the boat by myself, for several weeks. I'm not going anywhere. I don't know what you guys are doing. So I'm leaving it there. My mentality, just so everybody knows, is if it misses 2 of the next 3 major precursors that we'll get nominations for, which in my mind is SAG, PGA, and BAFTA. If it misses 2 of those, it's done. For me. Because I don't know that it can recover from that. If it misses 1 of them, I don't care. I'm fine. Now I pray, as a fan, that it gets in at SAG. Because that's where it really stands the best chance, and that's really where it should get in. The other 2, it could get in. But there's a difference between it could get in and it should get in, if that makes sense. And it already missed one that it should have gotten into, which was the Globes. I love Blue Moon. Nouvelle Vague is okay. It's a pretty film. But it should have gotten in there with 6 nominees in musical or comedy. Musical or comedy. It should have gotten in. So it already missed one of those shoulds. I don't think it can miss another one. I feel like you won't like Ann Lee I feel like you won't like Ann Lee like Amelia Perez. Oh boy. It can't be that bad. There's no way. There's no way. And also, I didn't know we were going to get an Amelia Perez mention on here. Let's see what we got here. Thank you so much. Oh, that's Anthony. That's my boy Anthony. If Weapons makes casting, Madigan is winning, he says. Thank you for the super chat. That's one of my dudes right there, member to the channel. You're not asking me, you're telling me, and I tend to agree with you. I tend to agree with you to a certain extent. Here's what I would add on to what he's saying there. Weapons has to get in somewhere else. And I think that's kind of in a roundabout way what he's saying. What else is it logically going to get in for? We saw that it was on the short list for casting today, which is great. I don't know if you guys remember, if you watch my channel, I had my buddy Fuji on. He did a live stream earlier, actually. And he, a couple months ago, we were talking about best casting. The video's on the channel if you want to check it out. Those were early thoughts on that category because we don't know what the hell it is yet. And we were saying that if they see Weapons as like a casting challenge for the casting directors, because they had to pivot during COVID, right? COVID hit, the strikes hit, all that shit. They had to basically recast the whole movie while they were shooting it, Zach Kreger and team. I think Pedro Pascal, who was in every goddamn movie that came out this year except Weapons, was supposed to be in the Josh Brolin role. They had to recast that, and they did all that like on the fly while the production was underway. So the cast is great, don't get me wrong, but you see what I mean? How, like, if you look at these, let me look at the short list for casting real quick. Where is that at? Is that up towards the top here? Yeah, right here. So, like, if you look at the group here, I love this because it kind of is telling us a little bit of what their approach to this category is going to be. Where it really seems like it's honoring the folks that cast the movie versus the cast themselves, if that makes sense. The process of the casting. Now, of course, the casting or the cast needs to be good. You know, if it's bad acting or somebody's misplaced or whatever, out of place, then of course, you know, that's not going to help it. But if you look at all these, top to bottom, and then, you know, like a nomination like Surat, I don't know how many of you have seen that. I love that movie. That's a great international film. I know Spain distributed it, but I think is it Morocco, I think it's Moroccan. But that movie employs actors from the home country, but it has actual people that attend those raves in the deserts of Morocco. And it basically hired them from the raves and said, hey, do you want to shoot some scenes in this movie? So like 75% of the cast are not actors. They were in this film, and then they went back to the raving in the desert. You know, that kind of shit, you know, which is like a challenge for the casting directors. But to Anthony's point that's on the screen there, it's got to be casting for Weapons or original screenplay for Kreger. It's got to be one of those two. Now, Madigan can win supporting actress if that movie shows up in one of or both of those. And if that's what you're kind of saying, Anthony, then I agree with you. Because her narrative is huge. I mean, of course, it's a great performance. The hair and makeup miss was not great today, because it missed that, right? I thought Weapons was going to get in there because that performance could come with makeup. Where the hell is it? It missed, right? I love The Ugly Stepsister getting in here, though. God damn, if they nominated that, I would literally drive to California and just wait on the steps of the Academy and just kiss all of their hands when they come out. That would be the greatest. For them to say The Ugly Stepsister on Oscars nomination morning, I'm going to be filming a reaction. That would be crazy. I would lose my shit over makeup and hairstyling. Where did they say that? That's my #1 film of the year. Alto Nights, by the way. What the fuck? So yeah, so it missing there didn't help Madigan. But to your point, it's got to get in somewhere else. Toller, what's up, brother? Oh, man. He's talking about Indy the dog. By the way, it's I-N-D-Y, dude. Come on, bro. Just kidding. That's my guy, Toller. Yeah, he loves Indy from Good Boy, which would be great. I don't think it's... did I tell you? I can't remember if I sent you the article or not, but the Astros, was it the Astros? Somebody help me out. It was the Gothams or the Astros nominated Indy. And it was kind of a joke because it was like they had so many nominees. It was like 10 categories, like 12 nominees per category. It's like literally every actor that worked in Hollywood got nominated. So he did get a nomination on the circuit. Thanks for the super chat, man. I really appreciate that. You're a good supporter of the channel. I appreciate you as always. And then you have Weapons getting screenplay. Thank you so much for the super chat. You don't have to do that, brother. Do you? Let me look at mine. Because I don't... How's it going to do that, man? All right, hang on. Let me go back to... I got to close this out because it won't save it on the Mac thing. Okay, so let me go back to screenplay here. Because if you have that getting in... And also, I need to update some of these. I'm going to have to do it on my phone, though. All right, as you guys are looking at these real quick, I'm going to scroll down to the original screenplay for his super chat. Look at this and tell me what changes here. And then I'll click into them and change them if need be. I literally don't think this changes my best picture at the top after today. I'm not trying to toot my own horn or whatever, but I'm like, okay, well, that's what I have. The only thing would be if Begonia got swapped out for Train Dreams, because that had a pretty good day with 3 shortlist mentions. But I don't think, now if there's nominations, that's different. But for the short list, I don't know that Begonia suffered. You know what I mean? It wasn't like Ann Lee, where it just didn't show up and it underperformed and it was missing in categories that we thought it was going to get into. So I think there wasn't a tip enough on that seesaw to put Train Dreams in yet. But that would be the only thing, really. Director, I put GDT in a couple weeks ago for Trier for Sentimental Value. I don't know. Who the hell knows? I never believed that Josh Safdie was going to get the nomination. He's a first-time director, essentially. And even if he's not, I mean, they don't like the Safdie brothers, so I mean, they never mess with their stuff. I'm sure Marty Supreme's probably gonna be one of my favorite movies of the year when I finally see it, but it just never screamed like multiple nominations. You know, Timothy Chalamet, of course. I thought supporting actress, but that's also been missing. So he could be the lone acting nomination for that. It's probably going to get into picture, screenplay, score, that kind of stuff. You know, and I've got Mendoza down here for Secret Agent. Park Chan-wook is unfortunately dead. I mean, I don't even know what to do with that. I mean, I don't want to take it off because it'll make me sad, but, you know, he's probably gone. You could put in Oliver, whatever his name is, from Surratt, probably, honestly. I think that one kind of leapfrogged no other choice today. But, I don't know. This right here, Del Toro for Trier, who knows? I mean, flip a coin, honestly. I think GDT gets in on his name, though. That's what I think. And Frankenstein looks like it's strong, so. I'm going to go back to your comments here. I'm going to scroll down to screenplay real quick, and then I'll go back to your comments. So, Buckley, Rose Byrne, Renate Ransva, Chase Infinity, I told you I've had her in. And then I recently put in Emma Stone for Cynthia Erivo. It killed me. Amanda Seyfried is like going into the damn basement, unfortunately. I love her so much. Man, that is brutal. And it actually breathes life into Jennifer Lawrence, which if you guys remember, if you follow my channel from like April until like literally 2 weeks ago, Jennifer Lawrence in my 5. Like, I held on to her forever, and they were just ignoring that performance on the circuit, and it's Len Ramsey, who always misses, and blah, 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 blah. So I dropped her out of the 5, but I kept her on the board, just, you know. But if Erivo's dead, right, and Amanda Seyfried's dead, then guess who's number 6? At worst, J-Law. And your boy's back in business, although I will be very sad for Cynthia, but it is what it is. I think if Wicked's going to miss a performance, it's not going to be Ariana. I think it's going to be Cynthia this year. So, but I think that probably stays the same for me right now. I mean, you know, Emma Stone's Emma Stone, so, you know, her name's going to help her too. For actor, another one where I'm like, I don't know, man. I mean, I think your top 3 are good right here. You know, Chalamet, Leo, and Wagner Moura are good. They're in. The order, you know, you can debate. And then after that, I feel good about George Clooney. I did feel good about George Clooney, I should say, until like 2 days ago. And like today, for sure, I'm like, oh, well, fuck, what the fuck? I don't get that either. It's very similar to Wicked for Good for me with the narrative around the film. Like, I don't understand it. I mean, and I know it's opinionated, it's subjective, and all that shit. I understand that. And that's what I keep telling myself. But I love Jay Kelly. You know, I mean, Wicked is like an IP, like a larger-than-life, like, you know, musical IP that, you know, if you're not into musical theater or if you didn't like the first one or like whatever, then maybe it's not going to be your thing, and that's a little more understandable. But, like, if you love movies, just not liking Jay Kelly is weird to me. I don't know. Like, it just seems like, I don't know, it just seems like something you would at least be like, this is pretty good, you know, at minimum, you know, and I loved it. I mean, it's probably going to be on my top 10 of the year when I do that episode in a couple weeks. I mean, it was one of the better films for me, and it moved me emotionally, which I didn't expect. And so anyway, this is where I'm sitting here. I think this 5 is pretty hardcore too, because Clooney's suffering, Jay Kelly's suffering. Joel Edgerton, we're talking about Train Dreams. If that continues to gain momentum, and especially if that surprises at other bodies, like, you know, BAFTA is probably not going to go for it because that's like an American story, right? Like middle America story. But if they went for something like that, that would be huge. And then obviously it needs to kind of show up at the SAG too. But right now, I think this 5 is pretty much your 5. I mean, something would have to happen to make me change my mind there. Let me go back to a couple of your comments, and then I'll come back and start with the supporting. Because I see you guys are talking to me, and I really appreciate it. Let's see. Did I get my super chats here? I got those. Thanks, guys. I got those. So let me see where I was at here. Okay, so that's Toller Super Chat. Let me go back here a little bit. Do the actors branch hate Ann Lee? That's what we're going to have to find out. Yeah, that's actually a good point. You know, you're right. I mean, I don't know if the movie is universally kind of like icky like that, which I haven't seen it, so I can't speak on it. Somebody have compared it to Amelia Perez, and If you follow me, you know how much I hated that goddamn movie. So if it's anything even remotely in that realm, then yes, please stay away from it. But it's Amanda Seyfried at the same time, and she's a gem, and I love her, and I'm sure the Academy does too, and the acting branch probably does too. I think she got nominated for like Big Love and stuff like that, like TV nominations there, and obviously she had the success with Mank, right? So she's been there, and they've recognized her and they love her. So it could happen. You're right. It could happen. Man, that's just a lot. That's a lot of nominees, though. If we're assuming Madigan happens, right? And I think and then like, what if Sandler happens and Jay Kelly ends up missing a bunch of other shit? That's a lot of like acting performances that like aren't getting anything else, which is rare. And then for it to happen multiple times in 1 year seems kind of far fetched. Obviously, this is a different year than what I expected. So I don't know, but you're on to something there. The SAG is going to really. I'm like on pins and needles. As a fan of certain projects, yes, but as a predictor too, because SAG is like, you guys tell me, and I'll read the comments, I'll go through them, but SAG seems like a really big precursor this season, because there's a lot of like acting performances that are like, what's going to happen, So, and that's another one too, with Ann Lee, with Amanda. Wicked for Good could pull off a surprise in cinematography, like Star Wars The Force Awakens. It has a lot of traditional cinematography. It's the color grading that's negative. Yeah. I think they improved on that too, though, in Wicked for Good. I really do. I think it was beautiful this time around. If you guys go back like a year and a half or whatever the hell it was when I did my Wicked review on the channel, I think I gave that one like a 7 out of 10 maybe. I mean, it was a positive review, but a whole point of that was taken off really for the cinematography or the lack thereof. And I was being critical because that's what I do. I mean, I love the movie, but I was being critical in terms of the review of the film and where it missed in certain places. So I definitely think it was an improvement this time around. And I think the Academy and the cinematographers will see that. And that's probably why it was on the short list. Okay, so people, all right, thank God. So we got a second opinion here. I think she was saying not that they're comparatively the same, but like that I hated Amelia Perez so much that I might hate Ann Lee just as much, but I don't know. I feel like, although I do love Zoe Saldana too, so I was going to say I do love Amanda so much, I don't know if I'd hate it, but I also love Zoe, and Selena Gomez, and I didn't really like Amelia Perez, so I don't know. Who knows? Who knows? I tend to like everything too, so that's how you know when, to varying degrees, I like everything. Like, I'm weird about that, and people get on me about that. Like, oh, you're too soft on the movie. It sucked, or like whatever. And I'm like, well, no. What about this, this, and this? And they're like, yeah, I didn't like it. I try to find something, or I usually, not that I try to, but I usually find something that I enjoyed in almost every movie I see, even if I don't like it. Like a performance or set piece or whatever, songs, use of music, whatever. But Amelia Perez, I was just like, this is fucking. What is this? You know what I mean? It was just such a weird experience for me, especially when I saw it and the success it can and how many nominations it was getting. And I loved, the trans representation at the time, and everybody was talking about that and like, oh, this is going to be great, and then I saw it and I'm like, what the fuck? So for me not to like it, there's missing something. All right. Let's see what we got here. If SCW, dude, I love seeing you. The Thanos thing is what it is or whatever, but I love when you pop up in the garage, man. I really appreciate you being here. If Madigan wins, it'll low-key be one of the best wins within the last 25 years. You know what? You're not wrong. And I got to tell you guys, I'll come clean right now. My regulars, I got some channel members here right now. They'll tell you too. It took me probably the better part of a month, if not more, month and a half, to put Madigan in my predictions. Not because... And people came in my comments about it, which is fine. I mean, that happens no matter what the hell I do. About, like, I'm wrong, she should be in there, this, that. It turns out they're probably going to be right, but this is a month and a half, 2 months ago. So it wasn't because I didn't like her or the performance or the movie. I love the movie. I think it's in my, like, top 15 or 20 of the year. I loved it. It's one of the better horror movies of the year, too, which is a list I'll be doing soon, by the way, my top 10 horror of the year. But it's a horror performance. Right? First of all, flat out, period, full stop. Okay? People are going to say The Substance. Great. The Substance had a kind of juicy, satirical narrative built into it about the Hollywood system, basically, and about aging out in Hollywood. It was very adjacent and akin to what they do, to what the movie industry does. Weapons is just a straight up horror movie. I mean, it's not a slasher, so it has that going for it, but it's like just a psychological, kind of like gory, I guess serial killer kind of horror film. Those have shown up, don't get me wrong, but how many years in between each one showing up? I mean, even Get Out, which, unless I'm forgetting something, maybe the most recent, like, prominent horror film to get a nomination, especially top of the line, was like a psychological thriller. I mean, there wasn't a lot of, like, horror in terms of, like, blood and gore, like, physical horror in that film. So I'm telling myself, as the horror guy, by the way, but also as a lover of the Academy Awards, that these things don't go together. Now, I want to be wrong, and it looks like I am going to be wrong, which is completely fine, and I love that. But you're right, because that would be such a off-brand victory, right? It would be absolutely, any Oscars, like, historians here or experts, hit me in the comments what that would even be like. Ruth Gordon, what was that, 1968 for Rosemary's Baby, right? My friend Brian mentioned that to me when he came on. What was that, like 50 years ago? I mean, and you're saying 25 years. I mean, I just don't think, I guess the Joker, Joaquin Phoenix, maybe you could say, for lead actor. But that movie was like a slow burn, like psychological breakdown, kind of like boiling to the point of what we saw in the last 15 minutes, which, what we saw in the last 15, 20 minutes of Joker is basically all of Aunt Gladys in Weapons. You know what I mean? It's just throughout the course of the film. It's just more of it. So I think you're right. I mean, I think it would be inspired for her to even get the nomination. But if she were to win that, now, of course, I'm pulling for Ari. You guys know that. But I wouldn't be mad about Madigan winning it either. I mean, she has the narrative and she's been around forever. So I think I got one more. Let me bounce back. Let me read this real quick, and then I'll go to the super chat. It says, Weapons has a shot at PGA. Yeah, although this WB, right? So it does. You're not wrong. But, I mean, you got to think Sinners is getting in there. One Battle is getting in there. It's a lot of WB. I don't know. Do you guys think the Netflix thing's going to hurt it? Where's that at, by the way? Did Netflix is that locked in with WB, or is Paramount doing? I haven't followed it in like a week. I was so depressed when I saw it. I was like, by the way, I have a beer that I've taken like one sip of. Give me 1 second. I'm watching the old Figure, little Michelob Ultra. If you guys are looking for a 5K channel sponsor for some fucking reason. But I'm trying to think, like, I guess not, but maybe I'm just forgetting it. But that's a possibility there. That's a possibility. And then Drew, what's up, Drew? I didn't see you in there, man. How you doing? He says, Weapons has a great casting narrative. Yeah, that's what I was talking about earlier. And I love that it's like really honoring. I mean, the cast is great, of course. But I thought Julia Garner was really good in that. And I'm going to talk about this too, Toller. Give me a fucking second, bro. I crashed out on a live feed earlier with that shit. Real quick to go back to this, though. That's kind of what I was touching on earlier. I don't know if you saw it, Drew, but, it's really honoring the casting of the film versus the acting of the cast, if that makes sense. Like, that's kind of what I saw when I saw those nominees. Now, they have to be good actors, too, of course, to stand out. But I love that, and I love that got a shortlist mention there, for sure. So, Warfare for Sound Design, I better see that happen. Well, you know what, Toller? I'm going to get to this because I don't know if you saw it. So let me go down here. So Toller is not, he's a buddy of mine, but he's not into the Academy Awards at all. Doesn't really follow award season. So may or may not know, so I don't mean to like mansplain this to you, but the shortlist, which is what came out today, if you're not on the shortlist in these respective categories, you are not eligible to receive a nomination. So basically a committee gets together in a room or Zoom or however the hell they do it, and they come up with 20 or in some cases 10, 15, some cases 20 movies or performances. And they say, here's the 20. Now you guys go pick the nominees, the 5 nominees from these 20, as opposed to being like, write in your favorite. And then it's like, 1,000 movies get mentioned. So they give you 20 films that you can vote for. And that's the short list. It starts as a long list, but we don't see that. And then it's down to a short list of 20 films. And then that gets pushed out to the sound branch, in this case, what you're talking about. And they vote on it. And the top 5 vote getters end up being the 5 nominees for Best Sound. All right, that's how the process works. So with that being said, look at what's missing on their Best Sound shortlist. What's missing here? It's an alphabetical order. Fucking Warfare is missing from this list. Warfare. They're basically telling us, sound designers in the industry, by the way, vote on this. They're basically telling us that Warfare is not one of the 10 best sound designs that was released theatrically this year. Get the fuck out of my face, dude. Like, that is absolutely preposterous. You will never in a million years make me believe that. And then on top of that, the only real standout that I'm kind of pissed about in this category, the other ones I'm okay with, is Springsteen, Deliver Me From Nowhere. And I knew that fucking movie was going to get in there because of the whole concert thing and music biopic. I mean, they fucking love it. They love it. That's also probably why Sinners is here, although I agree with that one. But there's a lot of music performance in that movie too. So I knew those two were, I told myself, I'm like, they're going to fucking get in there, but just don't snub Warfare. And they did. It's not in here. So I don't know if I'm the one breaking this news to you, Toller, but it cannot be nominated for Best Sound because it didn't make the short list. So, which is one of the huge, huge L's from this morning for me personally. The other one is Predator Badlands, which I know you're lukewarm on, but that movie should have been in visual effects too, or at least on the short list, and it didn't make that either. Those were the two for me that really pissed me off this morning. Weapons and Surratt are the ones with narratives to an Oscar nom. Are you talking about for casting, or are you talking about for? Did that get in casting? I think it did, right? Which would be fucking Inspired, dude. Did it get in there? I can't remember. Oh my god, it did. No, that's cinematography. But it did get in for casting. I thought that. Oh my god, I love that. Surratt is surging, guys. That movie's fucked up. I don't want to spoil it if anybody hasn't seen it, but that movie is quietly strange, where you're like, but it's one of those movies that's like, I need to do a review on the channel for it actually, but it's one of those movies that's like strange because it's like you're watching it going, what are we doing? Something's going to happen here. What's going to happen? And then nothing really happens. And then the next scene you go, okay, this is it. This is what's going to happen. And it doesn't really happen. I mean, it's cool shit to look at or whatever, but nothing really happens. But then, like, about halfway through the movie, there's like a switch that gets flipped. I'm not going to give anything away, with like certain lead characters that we've been following through all this shit not happening. And when shit happens, it happens, okay? The last like 40 minutes of this movie, I'm just like, holy fucking shit. It's just like crazy. And it has such good sound design. The score is, now they don't really go for those like techno bass rave scores, which you're going to get in Surratt. But man, that's Inspired. That movie is surging big time. It's reminding me actually right now of like The Secret Agent a few weeks ago. Like it's really surging at this moment in time, the last few days. Let me go to that super chat. I got one earlier. I'm so sorry for the delay. Oh my God, it's my girl. It's my girl, Jules. I love you. What did you say here? You said, Wicked for Good is still alive. Let's go. Let's go. When you know, you know. You know what I'm saying? That's one of my real ones right there. That is one of my real ones. And yes, it is still alive. Thank you so much for the super chat. You know I love you. Channel member, I really appreciate you. Always. Let's see. Carl is surprised I'm live. I know, me too. I was going to go to bed at midnight. What time is it? Although that's probably not going to happen. I'm hyped. I'm hyped from the shortlist today. I really am. Wicked overperformed. These little movies that I love, like Surratt that we were talking about, showed up big time. I'm depressed that Jay Kelly was like literally fucking non-existent. I think he got a score mention, which I mean, it is a good score, Bertel. But I mean, all in all, this could have been a rough morning or day, but it was good. It was good. I got ahead in my edits. Jules, I don't know if you saw, channel member, but I just dropped my Rob Reiner tribute ranking. For members, it'll be out in a couple days for everybody else, but I'm ahead of the game on that. But speaking of Surratt, I did my, you guys will all be seeing it probably Friday or Saturday. I got to edit it. But I did my top 10 international films of the year, my personal ranking of all the international films I saw. I saw about 20 or 21 or so far. I've already recorded it. Great year for international cinema. We're going to get 3 in Best Picture this year. We are. Maybe 4. I mean, Sarat's like, let me in, guys. I'm coming, you know? So we might get 4. I mean, I don't know. Let's see. Toller says it was the... Oh, you're talking about for Indy. Yeah, it was the Astros. They nominate fucking everybody. No offense to him, because, you know, he was great. We've talked about that. Wicked for Good is still in a good place. I agree. Weapons should get screenplay. What's cool about Weapons, it is like Get Out. You're right. But even more so, and Zach Cregger did this with Barbarian too. I don't know if you guys know this, but he was like a comedian. He's a comic writer. And I think he did stand-up too. He's fucking hilarious, by the way. Which is funny that you're comparing it to Get Out, because of course that was Jordan Peele's background too. But you have all these like comedic actors or writers that go on to do horror because they're so kind of adjacent to each other, and they complement each other so well. And a lot of times horror will have really good comedy in it, and, you know, vice versa if it's done right. But Cregger really employs in his films this compartmentalized kind of storytelling. He did it in Barbarian also, where like almost like it's a sketch, right? And like a comedy act, you know? And he's like telling you, or like the sketch is playing out, and then we go to commercial and we come back to another sketch, you know? And then at the end of that, all the sketches kind of come together, and you see how the bow's tied on top, you know? So he has this way of like telling these stories in both of his films, and I've noticed that now with Weapons. So the first one, I was like, that's interesting. But then after I saw Barbarian, I found out about his comedy background, and I was like, oh, okay, it's like a Jordan Peele thing or whatever. That's cool. And then when I saw Weapons, I recognized the same beats and the same style of writing, which is really cool. It's really fascinating. It's almost like he's like writing these like mini scripts within the larger script. And I think a body of screenwriters, especially if he could get a WGA mention, right? The Writers Guild, that would be like giant for Weapons if it gets WGA, which I'm not sure if it's eligible, because I know some films are not, which is weird because of the whole like SAG-AFTRA thing and all that. I'm not sure how that works. But if it's eligible and it gets in there, that would be huge for that movie, because I agree with you. It's a great screenplay. Sinners, Sentimental Values, it was just an accident. Weapons, Marty Supreme are your original. Oh, I was supposed to tell you. I'm sorry. All right, so let me go back, and then I'll go back to the comments. I think I got another super chat too. Real quick though, screenplay, because I was headed there. Is this what you said? Okay, so this is changing for me because fucking Jay Kelly, guys. Oh my god. I want Ava Victor to get in here too. You've got Weapons in, you said, right? So, I mean, Noah Baumbach should be in here. He really should. I know you guys love Weapons, and I do too. I love Sorry Baby, but I mean, that was good. That was good. Emily Mortimer too. So you have like the collaboration there. Are we still confident Marty Supreme's getting in here? Probably, right? I feel like that had a pretty prominent miss though, didn't it, in the last week or so? Yeah, you know what I'm probably going to do? Because of this, of these players right here, and I have to update it on my phone for it to save, so that's why I'm not doing it right now, but just to tell you verbally, if I take Jay Kelly out, it's probably Weapons, right? Or The Secret Agent. I don't know. I got to think on that one. You know, this category and adapted is really going to come down to, for me at least, like what's winning in the precursors, and what the WGA does. By the way, we might not get WGA until after Oscar nominations. I can't remember. The timeline's really fucked up this year. So I think your 5 sounds great. It sounds like the only thing I would need to do to match you would just be take Jay Kelly out and put in Weapons, which is probably what I will end up doing if I remove Jay Kelly. So I'm okay with that. Let me see. I know one of you guys hit me with the chat here. Let me see. Thank you so much. What is it? West. I'm going to say this. Nobody say anything. Weston Gibbon Music. Did I do it? I did it. Man, I'm on it. My letterbox is just the Awards Garage. Yep, just the Awards Garage on all socials. Follow me there. If you have this app, Award Expert, I'm also the Awards Garage on there. Follow me. I been watching a shit ton of movies for award season, screeners and stuff, so all kinds of reviews on there. But I do like mini reviews on Letterboxd. I try to be funny. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But usually I'll put like a little blurb, and obviously I'll rate them and stuff like that. So yeah, it's just the Awards Garage on there. Thanks so much for the super chat, man. I appreciate that. Let me see. No. Did I do that? No, absolutely not. Sinners is my winner, actually. Did I do that? I didn't. No, I have it at number 1 right here. Unless you were talking to somebody else. Yeah, no, it's my number 1. I think this is Coogler's, like, I'm not going to say it's the only thing Sinners is going to win, because I don't think that's true. I think it will win other things. But this is, like, his definite, in my opinion. This is, like, or I'm not going to say it's a lock, but what I will say is like, this is his best chance for an Oscar this year, I think. And I'm talking about him individually. I mean, Coogler is original screenplay. Really good screenplay, too. Really good. Really unique. Really inventive. Blending of genres. Mixing in the historical Jim Crow aspect. So it's like American history blended with this like vampire horror film. Really vivid imagery in the screenplay that comes to life, obviously, on screen. I think that's his shot. I don't think he can beat One Battle. And I think the reason it's his shot is because if you look right here, I mean, obviously they split it, right? So if they had 6 nominees, and let's just say it was a mix of all these, then it probably is One Battle, because it's PTA. So Coogler and PTA getting awarded this year for their screenplays would be good with me. I'd be into that. So I think that's probably what's going to happen. Yeah, man, Rodney, thank you for shouting that out, guys. Look that up. By the way, I don't know if is that on streaming. I don't know if it is. I don't want to mess. I'll look on my phone actually. That was a fucking powerful performance. By the way, if my phone screen pops up, why is my wife texting me? Oh, never mind, it's not my wife. Somebody else. But it's just a friend of mine. Let me see. I don't think. You know what? I can actually check on Letterboxd, can I? Because they have that feature now, where you can see if it's playing somewhere. So Rosemead is like a true story. I'm not going to give it away, even though you could Google it and find out everything, which I went down a rabbit hole after I saw it, and I was like, this can't be. This has to be embellished. Like, that's how crazy the story is. But Lucy Liu's a single mom, and they live in like this Asian community in California. And she's raising her teenage son alone, and I don't want to give you any details. I'll just say that it is a tough life for her to be raising him under the certain circumstances that they're going through as a family. And it's a real life event. The way that it's depicted in the film in terms of the ending, the way the film ends, really happened. And it's one of those where it's like, this is a movie. There's no way this shit happens in real life. Like, I'm not overplaying it, I don't think. Maybe Rodney can back me up here. It doesn't say that it's playing anywhere, so I guess it's only in theaters right now, and it's probably limited release. But I got to imagine that's a smaller studio, too, which also is why I fear for her chances. By the way, Rodney, she needed to get in it like at the Globes. I thought she could, and she didn't. So that would have been big. She needs that. She needs that moment where it's like, oh, what's this? We love Lucy Liu. What's this? Like, somebody has to go out for her. It's not going to be the Academy. That's not going to be her first mention. As much as I would be okay with it, that's not going to be her first mention. So she needs to, SAG or whoever needs to like go to bat for her. And then if she gets that notoriety and they see that name on the card and they're like, what? And they love Lucy Liu, more people start to see the movie. Then they see that performance that you and I are talking about. And it could do something for her down the road. But right now, I can't remember the studio, but right now I don't think they have the juice to make that happen, even though her performance is easily among the best I've seen. But yeah, when Rosemead is available, if you guys are okay with like really like dark, dramatic family drama stuff, it's something else. It's something else. And it's timely and topical too, because it only happened like 10 years ago, I think. It's a pretty recent story. Aaron says, you still haven't seen Marty Supreme. Neither have I. No Other Choice is in trouble. It's in trouble not because of it underperforming, although that doesn't help. But it's also in trouble because Surat, another Neon International film that I like, but I mean, this is Park Chan-wook we're talking about. And I think a lot of people probably share my sentiment. Weren't expecting that to be overtaken by this little Moroccan film, you know? And that one is really overperforming. And we already had such strong contenders with Panahi and Sentimental Value and, of course, Secret Agent from Brazil. So no other choice is tough. Also, I want to tell you guys real quick. I told you I did that ranking for international films. There's this movie out of Tunisia, I think, called The Voice of Henry Rajab, which if you follow award season, you probably have heard about it. Holy shit. That movie better get in. It made the short list today, I saw, and I'm like, all right, we're off to a good start here. But that's the international film right there. That one was, at least from like an emotional, real life story. I mean, it fucked me up, man. Again, I don't want to spoil anything, so I'll just keep it basic. But like, it's such an impactful, emotional movie. But everything, all those emotions that you feel are relayed subtly. Like, very simple. The film is essentially an hour and a half or so of phone calls, texting, planning on the chalkboards, computers, in like a call center. That's literally the film. But it plays the actual, because they work in a crisis center in Gaza during the conflict. And the movie, this is not a spoiler, it's in the trailers and the premise. The movie splices in the actual calls to the crisis center from a 6-year-old girl who is trapped during air raids on the Gaza Strip during the conflict. And her name is Hen Rajab. That's where the title comes from. So it's actually her, and you hear her experience and what she was going through. And then the actors in the movie are receiving the call, fake receiving the calls, and acting for us as the crisis center folks did. So it is extremely harrowing. But the filmmaker is so reserved where they could have very easily dramatized this in a way where it's like, okay, we're going to reenact it, and we're going to show you the Gaza Strip, and we're going to show you bombs going off and tanks driving by, and whatever young actress we have playing her. And like, they could have done all that shit for like shock and awe, like to have that effect, but that's not what it was. It was much more reflective and like really a tough watch, but like it just got me, man. It just got me like the whole time, because too, you're like, well, fuck, shit, I mean, like, this is brutal, and it was a really hard watch, but like an important watch. That's one of the better international films, if not the best, at least in terms of like how it affected me, that I've seen this year. And so I hope that one gets in. But there's not enough spots, right? I mean, Jesus, Neon alone has every spot locked up. Man, I don't know. Oh, you thought the screenplay was confusing. Well, I could see that because it does blend a lot of stuff. Yeah, Avatar is not looking good, Jules. I liked it. I'm thinking about doing a review on the channel for it, but I haven't written my script for it yet, and I haven't recorded it, so who the hell knows? It's the holidays, you know what I mean? I'm lucky to wake up tomorrow. Anthony says, I also got paid this week, and Christmas shopping is done, so I'm feeling generous. Oh, you gave Fuji a super chat, too. Yeah, Fuji needs it. He's a good dude over there. He's a good guy. Well, thanks, man. I appreciate you. Oh, hey, Aaron. We talked earlier, but you said Noah Revo. What are you talking about for actress? No, I took her out, man, because let me see. What did I do? I took her out, much to my dismay. I don't know if you watched my last Power Rankings video, but I dropped her, or I switched her with Emma Stone for Begonia. What happened today on the short list? If that translates to nominations, that's a big boost for her, though. I'll give you that. But where's the passion for her performance like it was for the first one? That's got me nervous. I think that, and I've always said that if Wicked for Good was going to come along and overperform, that it had to be better. Components had to be better than they were in the first one. It got 10 nominations. almost all the top of the lines, right, except for John M. Chu. So like, and I'm saying this as a super fan. I've been following the musical for like 15 years. I love it. But I'm truly asking, is Cynthia's performance, the acting performance in Wicked for Good, better than the one she gave in the first one as Elphaba? I don't think so. Now, collectively, they're amazing, and I love them. But I just think she outsold in that first one. And unfortunately, for whatever reason, kind of the structure of Act 2, the musical, Elphaba's not a back seat, but like it's a Glinda show. They're not as much of a two-hander as they were in the first one. And that's just by design, the way the musical is kind of set up, which is why I was so glad that I enjoyed it as much as I did, because I thought John M. Chu did a great translation of it. You know, we were talking about cinematography earlier. That's the perfect example. That's better, in my opinion, than the first one. So yeah, nominate it. Ariana is better in this one than she was in the first one. She's more layered. She's given more to do. She has more emotions. She's not just comedic. And I don't know that Cynthia, gets a chance to, even though, of course, we know she can, but I don't know that she gets a chance to really show that off so much in Wicked for Good that it would lead to something they've already nominated her for, you know? Now, if the movie continues to overperform, which it is, then she could very easily come along with it. In fact, you could tell me right now that they were campaigning, Universal was campaigning Ariana for lead, and I'd be like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Or they could flip, and Cynthia could be supporting, and Ariana could be lead. Of course, that's not what they're doing, but if you told me that, I'd be like, all right, yeah, that makes sense. Let's do it. So, I don't know. I mean, she's right there, especially with Ann Lee suffering. She's right there, But, man, it's Emma Stone. Begonia's doing the opposite, where it is performing really well. Emma Stone's performing really well. A lot of people are saying it's among the best performances of her career. She already has 2 Oscars. I don't know. It killed me, though. It killed me to do it. And on that video, I actually had a tough time doing it. But, yeah, I just, you're trying to guess right now. We'll see what SAG does. I've actually got her in at SAG, and almost nobody does. But the reason I have her in at SAG is because if she misses that, she's absolutely not getting nominated, because that's the acting branch. They'll basically be telling us, like, we didn't see enough from this to nominate you. If she gets in at SAG, which I have her doing, then she's brought back to life. Now, that's my opinion, but that's kind of where my mentality is with her right now. Oh, yeah, Mora for lead actor. I could see that. So good in that, man. So good in that. I loved him in Civil War. They could have nominated him for that, and I'd have been like, this is great. That was actually kind of when I knew of him. I knew who he was, but that was when I kind of got introduced to him, because I saw him on, was it Narcos he was on, I think, the TV show? But I don't watch enough TV, but I had seen him on that before. What's up, EDM? Weapons has outside shot at editing. You got some examples there. Yeah, that's a good point. Those are good analogies, too. I like that. Weapons does have good editing, you're right. Especially, like I said, the way that story is being told from the different POVs and stuff, kind of like the Rashomon style. And I like how Kreger does that. I mean, all right, I already kind of mentioned that. Do you think Blue Moon missing makeup shortlist affects Hawk's chances? No. I had it in there as a possibility. But, his transformation is kind of minimal, really, because they do that camera trick with his height. Because, Larry Hart was really short, and Hawk is not that short. So they do that camera I'm not sure how they did it even, but that perceptive camera tactic to make him look shorter. And he obviously has the hair, and I'm sure there's makeup involved too, but he's had the balding cap and stuff like that. So, I mean, they did obviously do him up. But what gets me about that missing, in other words, it's not as, like, obvious. Like, oh my God, this doesn't even look like Ethan Hawke, that kind of obviousness, like the Smashing Machine or something like that. But what kind of gets me is, like, one battle got in there. And I was joking around earlier, like, let's look at those nominees real quick. I'm going to wrap it up soon too, guys. I'll run through your comments kind of like speed style here. Hopefully I haven't missed any super chats, but I'll check that too, just in case. But yeah, so like if you look at these, like I can't believe Actually, I can't believe Alternate Nights got in, because the Academy loves doing weird shit like that in this category. They always do the craziest shit. Kokuho, I think I'm saying that right. Kokuho I have not seen, but I've heard a lot more people talking about that in just the last week or so. So it's ironic it popped up here because I really want to see it. I actually reached out to the studio about getting a screener for it. So hopefully I can check that one out, especially now that it's on the short list. But when you talk about Blue Moon missing specifically, being able to help somebody like Ethan Hawke or maybe even Andrew Scott, if you look in the middle here, Marty Supreme, Nuremberg, and One Battle are weird to me for this category. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm just like stupid. I don't, or not seeing what they're seeing. But I'm like, I haven't seen Marty Supreme yet, in fairness. And I know they did his eyebrows and all that. I mean, I get it, and I'm not downplaying anything these makeup artists do. It's phenomenal. I could never do it. Of course, they employed a lot of hair and makeup, and I'm sure it's great. But I just, in other words, it's not something you think of, or at least me, it's not something I think about. The clips and trailers I've seen. Nuremberg and One Battle, I've obviously seen those movies, and it's the same thing. Like, I don't think, like, oh my God, like, I can't believe they turned Leo into that or whatever because of the makeup. You know, I mean, I mentioned earlier, like, I'm trying to figure out what the hell it even is. I mean, I guess Sean Penn in the car accident at the end, maybe? It's got to be that, right? I don't know. And then Nuremberg, I like too. I'm a defender of that movie, but the hair and makeup and that's kind of weird too. I mean, I guess maybe they did Russell Crowe up with prosthetics, maybe. Honestly, I didn't even think they did. It looks like him, frankly. He might have a fat suit on because he's kind of big. He plays Gorbals. So I don't know. But I mean, I haven't looked into it enough to be sure. But that's where it kind of like chaps my hide a little bit for a movie like Blue Moon. And we were talking about warfare earlier and sound. When like these other movies get in, when you go, where was the hair and makeup in that? You know, but it's in here for a shortlist nominee, you know. I don't know, it's strange. But I don't think it hurts Ethan Hawke. I think he's surging at the right time. I think, you know, that's why I said SAG is such a huge precursor this year for acting. Because unlike previous years, when you think, excuse me, you think last year like Zoe Saldana and what was the dude's name? Culkin, right? We knew. I mean, we knew all season, right? Same thing with RDJ the year before for Oppenheimer. Like, we knew what was going to happen. There was no mystery. There was no suspense. Every awards body kind of fell in line. You know, I mean, some critics groups may have gone out or whatever, but it didn't end up mattering. And, you know, every major awards fell in line. But with acting this year, you don't really know. You know, I mean, half of them could be Timothy, half of them could be Leo. One could go to Ethan Hawke. One could go to Wagner Moura. I mean, you know, Elle Fanning could win. I mean, Madigan could win. I mean, we don't, you know what I mean? Everybody's like kind of on an even playing field right now. Especially if you don't put a ton of stock into the critics, the regional critics groups, which you really can't. That's why I like to like wait and let all that kind of, it gives you a feel, right? It gives you a feel for what's going on out there in the world. And you have that feeling, oh, okay, Madigan's getting a ton of mentions. It's probably going to be a good situation for her. But in terms of like predictive for the Oscars, that's why I personally kind of wait for all that to kind of like iron out. I don't know if you guys have seen my spreadsheet I've shared a couple times on different videos and stuff. But like the CCA, obviously, right, the Critics' Choice Association, which is a national association that's made up of a lot of critics, some of which are in these regional groups. You know, I'm in a couple different ones locally. North Carolina, the state I live in. I'm in the Film Independent, which is out of California, but I'm in that organization as well, the one that does the Indie Spirit Awards. And I've applied to be in the CCA a couple times, and they haven't given it to me. I don't know why. Probably because I'm in North Carolina. But nonetheless, I could be on the CCA, and I could be in the North Carolina Film Critics, and someday, hopefully, I will be. So if, you know, my organization here regionally nominates The Ugly Stepsister, right? And I go to the CCA, and I put in for The Ugly Stepsister, that doesn't mean it's going to get in there, right? So even though you see The Ugly Stepsister show up at like 10 or 12 local critics groups, don't start putting it into your Oscar predictions, you know? Now, if it ends up being on the CCA, right, and the HCA, which is like the Hollywood Creative Alliance, which is the largest national critics group that like is basically all the people that work in Hollywood essentially, and also do critical outlets or work for critical outlets, magazines, periodicals, websites, whatever. If they have it in, and if the CCA has it in, then that's a large pool of all these smaller critics groups that you're seeing. You know, New York Film Critics Circle's another one. You know, these larger ones. So you can use those as like snapshots, which, by the way, makes my life easier because I have a real job and kids and everything. Or you can say, okay, well, here's 100, regional critics groups I'm going to look at, or I can look at these 3 and get an idea, which usually translates pretty accurately. So with Ethan Hawke, the reason I did that whole diatribe is because the SAG is huge for him also. They love him. So he should get into the SAG. I talked about not missing nominations that you should get. Like when your team, and I'm a Panthers fan, so if anybody knows the NFL, this just happened to me on Sunday. We're in the playoff race. We played the Saints. That's a game that we should have won. We're the better team. We were favored to win. We had turnovers we shouldn't have had. We should have won that game, but we lost it, right? So now our back's against the wall to get into the playoffs. Ethan Hawke, based on everything that we have in front of us and based on the candidates involved, should get in at the SAG. So if he misses there, of course it's not his fault, but if he misses there, that's an opportunity that he missed to get closer to the Oscar nomination. So SAG is huge for a lot of people in this race, actually, and I think Ethan Hawke's one of them. But I don't think what happened today hurt him. I do too, Jules. Jesus. Thank you. I'm just kidding. I'm actually with you on that. Yeah, it sucks. Yeah, Corey, what's up, dude? I didn't even see you were here, man. Thanks so much for being here, but I agree with you. I love Clooney in that. And I'm not even a huge fan of his. I just thought that was perfect. I thought it was such a personal performance for him. All right, let me do a speed round here. I put that on Fuji's stream earlier. I'm like, Justice for Ice Spice. By the way, that movie was fucking hilarious. I took my son to see it Saturday. Paramount did like a family screening for us on Saturday, and I was dying. There's one scene in it. I don't know if there's any SpongeBob fans here, but I'll just tell you real quick. There's one scene in it in the very beginning. It's like in the first 15 minutes of the movie where SpongeBob and Patrick go to this theme park, and SpongeBob is scared to ride a roller coaster. And Patrick's like, oh, man, it's fine. You're finally tall enough. It's no big deal. Like, it's just, it's a thrilling coaster. You'll be fine. And they go up and they're watching the coaster, and the animation is showing all this different shit. And it's like, it's fish on there, obviously, because, they're under the sea or whatever. And it's like all these, they're like going off the thing, and like the thing's exploding, and there's like cannonballs crashing into the side of it. And there's like fish being lit on fire and turning into fish sticks. It's like the craziest shit. And me and my son were like literally dying during that scene. It was so funny. It was one of the funniest things I've seen in any SpongeBob thing that I've watched. I've been watching it for a long time. Let me speed round here. Weapons, casting triumph, screenplay that trusts character and atmosphere over noise. Win Car, I agree with you. Yeah. And not only that, I mean, you're right. You're absolutely right. But not only that, kind of like what I mentioned a couple times already, is that the casting director and what the casting department had to do for that movie during the production to rework everything, basically recast the movie in a lot of different areas, including Josh Brolin's role, and for it to work, as on a time crunch like that, is really special, I think. You've got Madigan versus Grande. Man, that's a tough one. Although, you guys know I'm going to be going for Queen Ari. She's got to win this year, man. We got to do something. We have got to do something. She's got to, even if it's not the Oscar, she's got to win something. She's got to win the Globe. She's got to win this. The SAG, something. How is she going to do these 2 movies? I'll say this and then I'll stop myself before I get crazy. How is she going to do this role of Glenda over the 2 movies that she's been wanting to play since she was like 14? There's video of her like performing these songs at her house. And it was her dream to be in the musical, okay? Her lifelong dream being realized to play a character that she's been following her whole life, okay? And knock it out of the park in 2 films and not win an award on television. Like, how is that? If anybody from any organization is watching this right now, how do we let that happen? Please don't let that happen. We've got to get her something. Yeah, I think, yeah. Kind of like what I was saying with Hawk. If he misses there, toodaloo, What's up, homie? AJ in the house, brother. Hadn't seen you in a while, man. Really enjoyed seeing your son with you on your CCA reaction. Those kids are fucking wild, bro. They are a damn mess. What does Park Chan-wook got to do to get some Oscar love? I agree, man. It is like absolutely insane. They owe that guy so much back rent. It is crazy, man. You know, I thought this was it. I did. You saw my CCA. I threw him into all the categories I thought were possible. I'm like, let's do it. This is it. They're going to do it. And I started with that first show because I'm like, well, if I'm wrong, fuck it. I was there for Park, And if he gets in, I'm gonna be a genius, And then it's like that'll spill over to other shows. And that's what I said. Like the CCA, I'm not in it, as I was joking earlier, but the CCA, they don't even realize it. In a lot of these cases, they have an opportunity to start a narrative, and they never do, especially with international. It drives me crazy. I mean, look at how prominent international cinema is this year in the awards race. And the CCA was like, fuck that. Nah. I mean, sentimental value, but I know Secret Agent got some mentions too, but sentimental value to me is like, I mean, yeah, it's international. I'm not downplaying that it's not from America. I realize that. But it also has that filmmaking tie-in, right? The storyline in the movie is very home to them. So even though that's international by name or by place, it still feels like a movie that they can connect to very easily, So aside from the couple Secret Agent mentions we got there, it was like baffling to me. I'm just like, guys, there's so much shit out there. We've got to like branch out. It's crazy. Anthony's saying he's trying to hurt my feelings, I think, but also I think he believes this. But he's saying it's Taylor versus Madigan. I love Teyana too, so yes, I agree that Timmy should have won last. You're saying Timmy should have won last year instead of Adrian Brody, in your opinion, and I agree with you. And I actually had Timmy all season. And when he won the SAG, I was like, oh my God, do I keep him in? What do I do? Because I was like, he's going to lose this too. It's definitely going to be Brody. And then he won, and I'm like, well, shit, And I ended up rolling with Brody at the very, very end. But of course, I was pulling for Timmy. And I think he's got it this year if it doesn't fall apart for him. So, and I agree with this too. But I am concerned after the shortlist today, although the acting branch, right? SCW, right? I mean, I agree. That's what is so weird to me about this. I mean, Jules will tell you, Anthony's here. I've been saying to all my members and to everybody who watches, Jay Kelly, I left the theater a little over a month ago when I saw that, and I said, put it in your 10 right now. This is absolutely 1,000% going to be nominated. And I was just merely going on what I saw on the screen. Not to mention, Clooney's in it, and Baumbach, and Greta Gerwig's in it, by the way, and they love her, which also I think helps at the SAG too. I don't know if she's mentioned as part of the ensemble. I didn't see that actually. But that's big. To even see her name on there, I think is going to help. It's weird, man. It's weird. Taylor is great, but too short. Unlike Madigan and Grande, Blunt is the only great thing in the Smashing Machine, and Fanning has more scenes than Taylor and top 5. The thing about Teyana Taylor, you're not wrong about the screen time, but be careful with that because they don't care. I mean, I'll tell you right now, they don't care. There's been multiple nominations. Actually, last year, Isabel Rossellini was like 7 minutes of screen time in that movie. And in my opinion, she didn't have nearly as impactful of the scenes as Taylor had in One Battle. So they don't give a shit. You know what I mean? Like if you're the hip narrative, and if you are a standout in a film, if you're in one scene or if you're in 100, they'll nominate you, especially in these categories of supporting. So I don't know what they're going to do, but I do think Taylor is a strong contender for sure. Let's see. Wincar says, don't count out Rose Byrne. I'm not. And if I had legs, I think that honestly, when these get nominated, I'm going to rank them when that happens, because obviously we don't know if this is the group here or not. But of these, I got to be honest with you, I've seen all these, and this is no shit, and y'all might be surprised by this. Of these 5 right here, if these were the 5 that were to get nominated, spoiler alert if I do this ranking, Chase Infinity is my favorite performance of these 5. My personal favorite. I'm not even saying she's the best one. That's my personal favorite. Second would probably be Rose Byrne. Jessie Buckley's getting all the love. Don't take that the wrong way, guys. I loved her in that too. I just was more surprised by Rose Byrne and Chase Infinity, I guess. And I know that sounds bad, but that's not what I mean. But I was just I was more surprised by their performance. I was taken aback more. But yeah, they're all great. I mean, I was joking around with Brian when he was on my channel a couple weeks ago, Brian Rowe, and I said, you could throw these names up in the air. You know what I mean? Just take these 5 names, if they get nominated, throw them up in the air, and whichever one lands on the table, that's the one I vote for. Or that's the one that wins. I mean, literally, who the fuck knows? I mean, they're all great. Cynthia, too. Amanda, if she were to get in. I mean, you guys know I love J-Law. Oh, my God. I'm getting hoarse because I'm getting fired up now. This is going to be good, though. It's going to be... Do you guys agree that this is like... Maybe I'm just biased because it's like recency bias, but this is like 1,000 times more exciting than last season. Definitely than 2023 with Oppenheimer. Because I don't know. I have no fucking idea. You guys tune in to me, you probably want me to tell you. I don't fucking know. I think, talking about this category specifically, I think Jesse Buckley's going to win it. But to Wincar's point, I would probably definitely not count out Rose Byrne. I agree with you. That's a performance that's really caught on too. Yeah, that's kind of what I said, Queenie. That's kind of what I thought you were saying too. I think the SAG is too self-aware to nominate Jay Kelly. Carl, here, let me ask you this though. I think Sandler's getting it. Dude, by the way, talk about a should be nominated. Sandler needs to get into SAG. The thing with Jay Kelly, I assume you've seen it. If you haven't seen it, then whatever, but I assume you've seen it. The thing that I think elevates that to be a higher probability for Jay Kelly to succeed, especially at a place like the SAGs, the actors voting on it, is that it's a story about an actor, kind of a legendary actor, kind of like Clooney, honestly. But it ties in his personal life and the struggles of balancing doing that, working in the industry, and balancing what's really important, which, essentially your family and your kids. And not a lot of those Hollywood elitist or, self-serving films really have done that, really. There might be characters in the movie that are kids of actors or like whatever, but like to really make that be the focus and then to tie that into his kind of career narrative too, his career trajectory, I thought was really special. And I think that the Academy, I thought the Academy too, but I think the SAG especially could respond to that because they've all probably gone through that shit. Maybe not to the level of success of somebody like Jay Kelly in the movie, but I'm sure they've all sacrificed, going to their kids' soccer games so that they could audition, for example. Something little like that could really speak to them. Let's see, I'm just reading through these and I'll pop in. Did I get any super chats? Oh my God, I think I did. I'm so sorry. Here I come. Hang tight, guys. Here I come. Hit that one already, right? Let's see. I truly believe. I know. I was like, I think he's hurt my feelings, but I also think he actually believes that. So I know. They're the top 3. They're the top 3. I'm weird because I don't kind of like the movie being at number 10 for me. I've said this before. Anora was an anomaly for me last year because that was my favorite movie of the year. One of them, like my top 2 or 3 of the year. And The Ugly Stepsister is not going to get into Best Picture. That's my best movie of the year. Okay, that's not getting in. Wicked for Good is one of my favorite movies of the year. It is extremely rare, whether you guys realize this or not, for me, especially as a horror fan, to love a film all year and then for that film to make it into the Oscars discussion and be nominated across the board. So much like that, Ariana is one of my favorite performances of the last 2 years. So I'm not going to give up on that performance until I have to, basically. So based on merit alone and what she does in the movies, I think she should win, period. Now, you got to factor in other stuff, right? You got to factor in what Madigan's career narrative is. 40 years since her last nomination, right? Elder actress. Could be her last shot. They know that. Tiana Taylor in the #1 film, the strongest film, arguably, at the Oscars. You got to factor that in. So, of course, she could not win. And I would understand, okay, that's why that happened. But I'm not going to give up on it. I mean, that's my queen, Period. It's like we were saying with Timmy, and I know you joke around with me about that too, but I love that dude too. And so I'm sticking with them until it's like, all right, they're not going to get it, And that will happen or that won't happen. And if it doesn't happen, I'll be on pins and needles, biting my fingernails on Oscars night to see who wins. And that would be really exciting. I would love it. But thanks for the super chat, man. I appreciate it. And Zek's in the house. What up, Zek? I didn't even see you, man. I'm so sorry. Film Twitter seemed to start the Madigan campaign. It seems manufactured, but it's working. Sorry if that sounds mean. It doesn't sound mean because I kind of know what you're saying. But I also wondered what was wrong with me at the time. I've actually got a couple really, really good friends on that I met through Film Twitter. I mean, I'm using that as a broad term, but I met on social media that were pushing for Madigan, and I feel bad as I'm sitting here right now talking to you guys because I can remember a couple months ago going, dude, get the fuck out of here. No shot in hell. You know what I mean? Because, I mean, they just don't do it. You know what I'm saying? Now, Madigan really has the benefit. Now, it's a great performance. Please. People come at me like, what about the performance? You're talking about the narrative. Yes, it's a good performance, but what you guys don't realize, that performance, there's no fucking way. If that, let me just put it, I'll paint it to you like this. And then if you don't think you agree with what I'm saying, then I don't know what to tell you. If that performance of Aunt Gladys was performed very, very similarly to what we got from Madigan in Weapons, from an actress that was a no-name or had very few credits or had only been acting for a few years or whatever, do you think that would be in the Oscars discussion right now? 1,000% hell to the no. The reason it's in the Oscars discussion is because it is a good performance that was performed by an actress who's overdue. That's the key, okay? There are so many performances year in and year out that are eligible, that are very, very good, that should be winning awards that don't even get looked at by awards bodies. It doesn't mean they're not worthy. They just don't. There's too many performances. My friend Brian, by the way, I got my own award show coming up. I'm just going to call it the Garage Awards, by the way. It used to be the Golden Peas for you, those of you that have been around for a while when I was 2 Ps. But that's coming up. And we're going through my short list right now. If you're a member, you can help pick the nominees, by the way. We have until January 1st. We're going to get the nominees together. But I got a friend, Brian, that co-hosts that with me every year. And he always says that, and I'll ask him about snubs, right? And he always says that any actor that was in a movie this year that did not get nominated got snubbed because of the dedication that goes into being on a film production and putting in a performance that you give your all to, right? There's only 5 spots. So not every performance that is worthy, realistically, is ever going to get recognized. Think of how many performances nobody even knows about because they're not in the discussion. You know, cinephiles like us might know. How many people know who Leah Myron is from The Ugly Stepsister? You know, I mean, even Fuji. You guys were talking about my boy Fuji, right? He freaking loves movies. He didn't even see it. He hasn't even seen it. You know, now, would he have seen it if that was in the Oscars discussion? Yes. Or in the awards discussion in general, but it's not. And it's probably not going to be. That's why I love seeing it pop up on the short list today. But, you know, to Zek's point there, her narrative is really driving that car, okay? Now, if their performance was bad, you know, I'm using that in air quotes, however that's gauged, you know, or not memorable or was not as pivotal as it was, you know, the makeup stuff was not there, whatever, then, you know, maybe that narrative doesn't matter. But the fact that she has that very ironclad, strong narrative and everybody loves her, and it was a good performance, that helps her. That's the only place I'm coming from. You know, if this was just a standard actress that auditioned for it, that got it, that gave a great performance, but nobody knew who she was, she wouldn't be nominated. You know, it's a horror performance. They're not going to do it. So thank you for the super chat, though. I appreciate it. All right, man, I got to wrap up. Let me go. Oh, my God, yes. Good Lord. I forgot about Disclosure Day. Good God in heaven. Did you guys see that? I did a reaction for that on the fly because I didn't even know that fucking thing was coming out. I'm lost, guys. I was like, what the hell is this? Please play this. What is this? And then I saw, what's the Nolan one? The Odyssey. I saw that trailer was coming out with Avatar this weekend, which I've already seen Avatar. But I was thinking about, like, taking my son to see it maybe so I can see the trailer, you know what I mean? Or maybe just using my AMC and going to see the trailer and then leaving. I don't know. I really want to see that trailer too. Yeah, I think it's The Awards Garage. All one word, just The Awards Garage on Letterboxd. You hit me up there. Let's see. Yes, let's fucking go. Emily Blunt's, man. God, I love her. And she was on the trailer, like thumbnail or whatever. And I was like, what is this right here? What is this? Fresh off of her nomination. Oh, man. At the Globes. So, Disclosure Day, just so you know, guys, hear me out. What is it? It's December of 2025. That movie comes out in June of next year. The awards discussion won't really start till what? October of next year? It's Spielberg. Okay. I'm just going to say, if that movie has favorable reviews and is received well on like Metacritic, whatever, it's getting nominated. It's Spielberg. Going back to sci-fi. A category that he's been very, very successful at, box office and awards-wise. Prominent actors in it. Hopefully Josh O'Connor gets something. That dude is coming on strong. I hope he gets some mentions. He got shafted for Knives Out. He's easily the best part of that movie. And he's a lead in that movie. What the fuck are they doing over there? Netflix had like 40 movies they were pushing, and they forgot that he was the lead in the movie. I mean, it's crazy. But yeah, visual effects, score. It's John Williams, right? I saw somebody commented on my video today that it's his last score. He's like 95 years old. Guys, that's getting nominated for original score next year. If you want to go ahead and pencil it in on Awards Expert, I think they have the next year's on there. But yeah, I'm with you on that. Oh, man. 4:30 in the morning over there. No sleep till the Oscars. Oh, man, I love you. You're right. I love you. You're right. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, Kathy Bates. That's right. I forgot about Kathy Bates. Natalie Portman. You guys are right. Because Kathy Bates was the only nomination. And actually, I knew that because I just did my Rob Reiner video, and I just didn't think about it when we were talking about it. But yes, that's a good one. I think so on this one. I think Silence of the Lambs is horror. It's more psychological, but whatever. I don't like to get into that debate because when it shows up at the Oscars, I want to take the W. So I think so. Let's see. I'm just going through these real quick. Oh, man. I'll leave that on there for a second. Yay, nay, the thing with that movie with Surratt is just like, it wasn't my favorite of the 5 neons. In fact, it would probably be my number 5 among them. But it was just like, it escalated. You know that meme, that escalated quickly? You know what, Ron Burgundy or whatever? That's kind of how that movie is for me. I was like, holy shit, where the fuck did this come from? And I kind of like that jolt of energy that movie gave me. But overall, I tend to agree with you. Didn't I? I got you. Oh, thanks so much for the super chat. I got you. It's just the awards garage. I hit you up with that. Yeah. Jules saw the tribute today. Thank you so much, sweetie. It's there. You go. There you go. I should end with that comment. Always Team Grande. She's leaving with something. Please, fucking God, please. Let's see. How many films are you on for the year? I just hit 97. Well, you do a lot more TV than I do taller, but I just hit 160, I think. 160. I wanted to get to 150, so I've hit my mark. And honestly, I'm done. Like, I'm just going to watch. I have a couple more screeners for, like, animated movies that I haven't seen yet. And Marty Supreme when that comes out. And Testament of Ann Lee if I get a chance to see that. That's it. I'm good. So I'll probably max out around 165 or something like that. Yeah, I'm with you on this. Good day for her at the Globes. Good day for her at the Globes. I'm doing my own movie awards I was telling you guys about, and we're doing this shortlist thing where my members can pick different categories, and Ava Victor's in a bunch of them because she's in movie for Sorry Baby. We have a breakthrough performance category, director, screenplay. And my wife is tabulating the results, and she's not supposed to give me the results until they're revealed. That's something I like to do because I'm stupid. So she's getting all of them, compiling them for me. But tonight at dinner, she was like, "Who's Eva Victor?" And I was like, "Why are you asking me that?" She wouldn't tell me. So I don't know if Ava's getting some mentions on my awards too, which would be cool. or if maybe she just didn't know who she was. Still not buying The Secret Agent. Man, I love both of those movies, so I don't really want either one of them to miss. But Park Chan-wook has just been missing too much. I mean, what are people doing out there? And I don't know why they're not coming to bat for him. Ann Lee is toast is probably the most accurate statement I've read here on the whole damn thing tonight. Yeah, I said that too, Aaron. I said that too, and Brian scoffed at me a little bit, and I don't blame him because it is kind of a out of left field thing, but his narrative, we're talking about narrative with Madigan, his narrative is big. I mean, the dude is basically being arrested for making films. He's making them kind of like, he's going rogue to tell these stories. They're going to respond to that. I mean, I still have PTA at number one. I still think it's PTA's year, and it would take something like that to beat PTA. And, the Academy might go, well, PTA's got screenplay. He's probably going to get Best Picture. What Panahi's doing, because when he gets on a plane and he leaves Cali after the Academy Awards, assuming he's there, and he goes back to Iran, he's going to jail. I mean, he even said that. He was like, no, I'm gonna go to the Academy Awards, and whatever happens, and when I get home, I'm gonna go back to jail for 1 year. Because that's his home. He doesn't want to be in exile and go somewhere else. I'm like, dude, and they know all that. So that's gonna play into it. The worst horror movie I saw this year, there was actually quite a few stinkers this year. There was this movie called Kill Streak. It's like a streaming, I saw it on VOD. I don't know if you guys, I think that's actually my dead last one, like number 160 or whatever of the year so far. But it's like it's one of those cliche movies where like this group of streamers join this game together, like virtually. They're all at their own homes or whatever. There's like 8 of them. And they join this survival game, kind of like a what do you call it, like a Call of Duty kind of model or whatever, and they're all playing together, but you have to reach the objective to get to the next map, kind of like you do in a video game. And it's a cliche, if you don't reach it, somebody dies. So now they're down to 7 people, and it's like it was the dumbest shit. I actually like zoned out halfway through and started doing other stuff, and honestly, I can't even tell you how it ended. It was so bad. It was horrible. That would probably be the worst thing I've seen. I don't even remember why I watched that though. I think a friend of mine who's like a horror nerd recommended it to me, and I was like, dude, you hate me. That movie sucked. Let's see. Yeah. You're talking about Rosemead, man. That shit was brutal, dude. If you don't have time to watch the movie, guys, it's a true story. It happened like 10 years ago in Rosemead, California. It's an Asian community in California. Google it. Shit is crazy. Oh, yeah, it is vertical. You're right. Yeah, they don't have the campaign for it. They don't. Lucy Liu needed somebody to go to bat for her. She needed an organization. She's been showing up at critics groups, right? But she needed like the New York Film Critics Circle, HCA, obviously CCA would have been huge, Globes. She needed somebody to like go to bat for her, to put eyes on that film. That's what she needed. And the opportunity is kind of shrinking on that. Let's see. That's coming out next year. I think they announced that there's going to be a trailer in like next month in January. So that's going to be next year, probably spring if I had to guess. So I don't know how much of an awards player it'll be, but I'm really excited to see it. I know people that have seen it and said it was great. So depending on the release date, it could be. Was that Black Bear that got it? I mean, Black Bear is no stranger to the Academy Awards, so they could do it. But if it comes out too early and it loses that steam, then maybe not. But I heard it's coming out next year, and we're supposed to get a trailer soon, I think. Can't remember where I saw that, but yeah. Yeah, Hen Rajab, if you guys love international cinema, you got to check that out. It's so good. Let's see, I'm just going through these. Yeah, so it is Black Bear. Yeah, it's weird about what happened with Life of Chuck, right? Which was Neon. But what happened with the release of that one? And then they basically released it where they're like, yeah, here it is. We're not going to push for this to do anything. I'm like, what? Because, like, honestly, I think Mark Hamill could have gotten a supporting actor for that nomination. Like, if that movie had come out in December, let's just say, and it had all the TIFF Audience Award and all the praise that it had been getting, and then it hit, like right now, and Mark Hamill's performance hit right now in the zeitgeist, he could have got nominated for that. But the chatter waned on it. They didn't release it in the year that they premiered it. Then it went to the following year, and they released it like in the middle of the summer or something. Like, what? Like, obviously, you didn't want to even attempt that, which is kind of weird. Because there were very strong components to that film, too, in addition to Hamill's screenplay for Mike Flanagan. I'm with you on that. I mean, she's got to get into SAG, though. I'm with you on that, though. I agree. I just think Emma Stone's stronger right this second. But that's also why I do power rankings like once a week. Because, I mean, by the time I end the stream, it could change. It's just the way it is. It's at least till the wins start rolling in, the precursors. Yup. I'm going through this, see if there's anything I want to touch on real quick. If you guys have any super chats, drop them in. We'll be ending here in a second. Oh, what's up, Brazil? Secret agent showing up. By the way, I can't show. Well, maybe I can just show you on my phone. Like, I can just do the old school thing and turn it around and show you. If there's any of my Brazilian peeps here. I was looking at my analytics the other day, which I don't do a lot, but I was huge growth lately. Which, by the way, thank you guys. But I got like over 500 subs in like 2 weeks or something crazy, and I was like, let me fucking see what's going on here. And I like looked at it, and I took this little screen grab that I was actually going to put on social media for my Brazilian peeps, but I forgot to. Where is it? If I can find it. I have all these Christmas presents I'm doing. You guys got your Christmas shopping done? Oh my God. Me and my wife did a spreadsheet of all the shit that we've gotten. Is this the one? I think this is it, actually. So let's see. It says, so they do this thing when you do your analytics in YouTube, for those of you that don't have a channel, where they're like, here's your week. I think they call it weekly review or something like that, or snapshot or something like that. And they'll like show you what you've done for the week, how many videos you put out, how many people watched it, how long they watched, all those kind of stats or whatever. And then at the end, they'll be like, let's do a little game, and they'll give you a couple quiz questions, right? And one of the questions was, what is the second most popular location your viewers are watching from, right? Can you guys see it if I do this? Where's the camera if I do this? Does it zoom in on it? It's supposed to zoom in on it. Does it zoom in on it? There you go. It says 15% of my views in the last 90 days were from Brazil, which might not seem like a lot, but think about that. It's quite a bit. I mean, The Secret Agent's probably helping, right? Because I love that movie and because it's popular right now in the awards race. But I made a lot of friends and fans in Brazil last year with I'm Still Here, because I was like one of the first people on that movie. I did a review for it really early on, and I was like, watch out for Fernanda Torres here. This performance floored me. And then like a month later, she was being nominated and shit. So I was just lucky in that regard. And I love my Brazilians. So I've told my wife I want to go to Brazil for vacation. I just turned 50, though, and we didn't do that. We went to it was really beautiful, though. We did a mountain cabin in the North Carolina mountains. It was awesome. My daughter was there. She surprised me. Had some beers, had fun. Also nights. What the fuck are they doing with that, man? Oh my God, what a wasted. Yeah, I just found that out today, actually. Andrew, 5 hours? And by the way, that's the one that's been getting nominated everywhere. And I didn't even know what it was. I was like, what the fuck is this? And then I'm like, okay, well, it's just a one-off or whatever. And then it kept getting nominated. So now I'm like, I can't watch I can't watch this 5-hour documentary. So has anybody stepped up on YouTube yet and done like a 30-minute recap or something? That's what we need. All right. Let's see what else we got here. What else? You guys are awesome, by the way. I'm going to be wrapping up here. Oh, my God. I know, dude. How did we lose that? Sorry, Aaron. I was using a sports analogy, which I think made sense at the time, but the Panthers are my team, and basically they should have won last weekend, and I was using that analogy. Brittany knows. Yeah, she knows. She's been to the channel before. She's a Panthers OG with me. That was a tough one this past weekend. Oh, my God. Sorry. I was making sure. Did I get that? I got that. There you go. Yeah, if you guys are into it, I have a countdowns and rankings playlist on my channel. And I did a ranking of the One Battle performances when I first saw that movie. And I talked a little bit about why Chase stood out to me. But man, I mean, she's one of my favorites now from one performance. I mean, I love her. You know, it was so good. I mean, you got to think of, and people dismiss it or whatever, you got to think of like this young actress who's literally never acted in a film before. At least I don't think. I think she's been in like a music videos or two of those, maybe commercials, something like that. Okay, you're in a Paul Thomas Anderson film, acting opposite of Sean Penn and Leonardo DiCaprio. Action. You know, you wouldn't expect her to do what she did. So I was really floored by it. It was great. Freda's in the house. Oh my God, Freda. Oh my God. Yes, it's dead. I think it's dead. I had it at 11 to begin with, but it might even be lower now because Train Dreams may have leapfrogged it. But it didn't. It only got on one short list today, Freda, and I think it was original score for Nicholas Bertel, which makes sense. But yeah, it's brutal. Also, get some rest. I see your tired face there. That's going to be me tomorrow. Wednesday is my worst day. Yeah, dude. I was telling you guys I can't wait to see that trailer. Yes, 100. You're talking about my letterbox? You'll have to look. I can look right now. I think it's like 160 or so. And it's been a really good year, honestly. I have a lot of like 4-star movies this year, which is kind of crazy. I can't show you guys my letterbox though because I have a lot of YouTube videos coming up for these. So it's actually 158 currently. So not quite. I'm getting there though. So 160-ish, 165 will probably be where I end. What's up, Joey? Oh, are you talking about my awards? You're going to be able to vote after the nominees come out. They're going to be announced on January 8th. And it'll be a public voting. It'll be like a Google form. So anybody can vote. I'll share the link. I'll do a video probably on my YouTube channel. We're going to announce the nominees. We do like a nominations announcement, just like the Oscars do every year. I have some friends come on and we announce the nominees. And then right after that, the ballot is live. Right now, my channel members are picking the nominees, essentially. So you know how the short list came out today? I did my short list. And my members are going through the short list, and they'll come up with the nominees. And then we'll announce them on January 8th. So I thought he was good in that. I thought if that came out in December, and it's Mark Hamill, I also thought he was really good in The Long Walk, by the way. Sure, why not? You know, I mean, obviously it's not going to happen, but I feel like if they had played it differently, it could have happened. But, you know, you guys are the best. Thanks for hanging out with me. I appreciate it. And that's it. I didn't even do what I was going to do tonight because you guys were so awesome engaging with me, and I really appreciate everybody that showed up tonight. Thanks for all the super chats. I'm going to update these Oscar predictions, but not to toot my own horn, but not a lot of updating required. I did pretty good with these. Some of the text I might have to mess with a little bit. I got to figure out what to do with Surratt. That one really overperformed today. Jay Kelly was already out for me, but now I'm thinking Clooney is even further down the list. The movie's probably further down the list. What do I do with Train Dreams? You know, but otherwise, I feel pretty good about the core rankings I have right now. I'll do it. I'm not going to do it just so everybody knows if you're watching this in the future too, just so everybody knows. I'm not doing another Power Rankings video until probably after the new year. And then the week of the Oscar nominations, I'll give you like, this is it. This is what I think is going to get nominated. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. This is what I'm locking in. So I'll do one more Power Rankings, and then I'll do that. So you probably got like 2 more. And then once we get the nominations, it's fucking a free-for-all. I'll be ranking all the nominees in various categories and predicting winners. The BAFTAs will be shortly after that. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Award season is my favorite time of year. So happy holidays, everybody. I'm not sure when I'll do another live stream, if it'll be before Christmas or not. But make sure you check out all the videos I got coming up to the channel. My Rob Reiner tribute video will be up tomorrow. And I've got that international ranking coming up this weekend. So I appreciate you guys. Thanks for sticking with me and talking all this awards shit with me. I really appreciate it. I'll talk to you guys soon. I'm going to finish this beer and then hit the sack. You know what I mean? I'll talk to you later.